The state now has a new training center for police recruits, but that's just one piece of the reform plan. WBZ's Anna Meiler is the only reporter to sit down with the governor to talk about how policing is being overhauled and the challenges awaiting his successor.
Inside the new police academy in Linfield, recruits are learning firearm safety, taking classes on implicit bias, and practicing de-escalation techniques in tense, simulated scenarios.
This facility that we're in today is one example of a dramatic improvement in the quality of the resources we make available to train people who want to be law enforcement officers and people who are.
I sat down one-on-one with Governor Baker to talk about the progress on the police reform bill he signed into law nearly 2 years ago. He says the training happening here is in line with that law and is for both recruits and current officers.
Not just training people who want to become sworn officers, but continuing to train people who are actually sworn officers.
The police reform law created the Post Commission, which makes sure officers are properly trained and certifies officers. They also have the power to decertify the police. The WBZ team found that so far, the commission has reviewed 8,729 officers. 19 were stripped of their badges. Some critics say that number seems low. Do you believe that the vetting process is thorough enough?
I take the point of view on this that if you have a civilian-led certification program, it's pretty hard to argue that somehow there's a flaw with the way the design of the model works.
The commission has 2 more years to review the rest of the officers in Massachusetts. Are you concerned with the amount of time it's going to take and that there's very likely going to be officers on the streets for the next 2 years that maybe shouldn't be?
But this is the way the legislature set it up. I happen to agree with it. I think rushing the thing, remember, this commission was created out of nothing. It didn't exist, and before the legislation was passed. And I think it's appropriate that they get this right.
The Post Commission is also charged with creating an online database where anyone can look up any officer's record. Some police reform advocates are frustrated that it isn't up and running yet. When can we see that database, and when can they see more transparency from the state?
Yeah, I can't speak to when the Post Commission is going to have that up. What I can tell you is that that is not an easy thing to build.
Do you think that all complaints against police officers should be public information?
A complaint against a police officer that is investigated thoroughly and determined not to be legitimate is a different story than one that is. And I think that should be incorporated into the way they make decisions. But at the end of the day, that's their call.
Governor Baker tells me when it comes to police reform, one of the biggest challenges for the next governor will be that process of collecting complaints and investigating them. In Linfield, Anna Meiler, WBZ News.